YouTube. So we're going to be talking about the gap and the gain in just a minute. But first, I want to go over our career path in Mary Kay. So as I shout out each career path level, if you are that level on the career path, I would love to see you like, woo, yeah, that's me cheering. And just know when we go to Mary Kay events, such as Fall Advance, our goal is 10 people at Fall Advance, by the way. There's enough of us on here right now to fill Fall Advance with 10 people. And it's not too late. It's not too late to sell your way there and to get registered so that we can go and represent as the number one unit there. That's going to be a really big deal. So I am super excited about that. But you're going to get recognition at any Mary Kay event for your level on the career path. So we're going to start doing that on our Zooms more often too. So first of all, everybody starts in the same spot. Isn't that cool that you can't just join Mary Kay and know the right person and start as a sales director? Aren't you glad that everybody has to do the same thing to move up the career path, that nobody has an unfair advantage? Because I do feel like in the corporate world, there's a little bit of that going on, right? Where people can have an unfair advantage, right? So I'm thankful that we all have to do the same thing to move up the career path in this business. And so we all start as independent beauty consultants. And as an independent beauty consultant, you are earning 50% profit. As an active consultant, you're earning 50% profit on your sales. So who enjoys their 50% discount and their 50% profit? Super exciting, especially with the holidays coming up. You can shop from yourself. Why go buy stuff from the store when you can be purchasing these cute little mint bliss with the socks, the lip balms, the eye palettes? You know, we have something for everyone on your list. Cologne, we got body scrubs, we got all kinds of stuff. So no more having to go search the stores for Christmas gifts. We can buy them from ourselves. So that's super exciting. So independent beauty consultants get their 50% profit. And you can also be a star consultant, which is super exciting. So that's when you have 1,800 wholesale within a quarter. And we just started a new quarter about a week ago. Oh, exactly a week ago. So on September 16th, we started a new quarter. And when you have 1,800 wholesale from September 16th through December 15th, you're a star consultant and you get tons of benefits, such as prizes. Who likes prizes? I love prizes. And also, such as free referrals from the company, which is super exciting. That means when somebody goes to marykay.com and searches for a consultant with a zip code, star consultants are popping up because Mary Kay knows that star consultants can service their customers. They are obviously working their business, so that's who they're going to send the referrals to. So be a star, always be a star. And we had 9 stars last quarter, which is so exciting. So our goal is definitely more this quarter. And so who is going to be a star this quarter? I certainly am, 100%. $300 in sales a week. That is what makes you a star. So next level on the career path is with 1 or 2 active team members, you are now a senior consultant. So this is when it's a good time to be called a senior, because I know we don't want to be called a senior citizen, but you do want to be called a senior consultant because that is a really big deal. And we do have actually a brand new senior consultant on this Zoom, and that's Ebony. So congratulations, Ebony, for being a brand new senior consultant, because her team member, Sarah, is now active. So that is super exciting. So what other senior consultants do we have here on this Zoom tonight? If you're a senior consultant, just give us a little wave, a chat, put a little emoji up. So senior consultants have 1 or 2 active team members. Now, when we recruit somebody, they're not active immediately, automatically. We can't just go recruit people and benefit, which is good because then we would be a pyramid. We have to actually help the women that we recruit build a business, become active, maybe get some inventory or sell some products to get active. But either way, their first order has to go in to get active. So 1 or 2 active makes you a senior consultant. And at that level, you're still earning 50% profit, but also for every qualified team member that you add, meaning that their first order is 600 or more, or if they reach 600 wholesale in their Great Start time frame period, you also get a $50 bonus. So who would like $50 bonuses? That's super exciting. So that's a $50 cash bonus, and you also earn 4% commission from the company based on whatever your team is doing. So if your team, for example, has $1,000 wholesale production for the month, then and you're getting 4%, what do you get? You get 40 bucks. Okay, so that exactly 40 bucks. So who would like 40 bucks? That's going to fill your gas tank up, right? And then plus the $50 cash bonuses for qualified. So, and if you're in your Great Start time frame, that is the best time to start building your business, because on top of that, with your qualified team members, so the difference between active and qualified is active is just that 225. Qualified is at least 600. Even if it's not their first order, they get to take their Great Start time frame to get there and get some free bundles themselves. But if you're still in your Great Start time frame and you have a qualified team member, you get 2 additional free product bundles. So I've had people earn thousands of dollars in products this way, because in your Great Start time frame, you're earning free products from the company for every 600 wholesale milestone that you hit. But when you have team members that are also earning bundles, you get two, and they're worth over $100 each. So how fun is that? Free products that we sell, because these are products that we use at our skincare sessions. They're not just random products. They're miracle sets and things that we actually do demos. So that's exciting. So 1 or 2 active makes you a senior consultant. And then with 3 active team members, so three or 4, you are now a star team builder. So do we have any star team builders in the house? Woo! I can't see everybody, but we do have a star team builder on here somewhere. Um, so is she still here? Did we lose? mm, mm, Did we lose Scarlett? Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna put it on gallery view. Okay. Where did Scarlett go? Okay, well, she is a star team builder, so let's give her a cheer. Oh, she's in the waiting room. I wonder how long she's been there. We lost her and she came back. Welcome back, Scarlett. So Scarlett is a star team builder, meaning she is a red jacket. So this is the first level of red jacket, which is a visible sign of leadership in this company. So when you go to events and you see people walking around in red jackets, that's a big deal. You want to go ask them, what are you doing? How can I get to where you are? And so at that level, you are earning your $50 qualified team bonuses. You're also still getting your 50% profit. But in addition, instead of earning 4%, you can earn 4, 8, or 4, 6, or 8%, depending on what your team's production is that month. So you can get even more commission from the company. And that comes straight from the company. It does not come from your team member's pocket, which is great, because that's just free money the company's willing to give us for just sharing what we love, which is this business and this product. So congratulations to our star team builder. Woo! Okay. And then next, with 5 active team members, you're still a red jacket, but your title changes to team leader. So that's super exciting, because as a team leader, y'all, you now can earn 9 or 13%. That's a huge jump. So you're going from 4% to 13% as a consultant by becoming a team leader. And the difference in the 9 and the 13% is what your team is doing and what you're personally doing. You cannot just recruit people and sit back and not work your business. So you need your personal 600 wholesale each month to maximize that 13% profit. And so do I, by the way. If I don't do 600 wholesale personally each month, I'm not earning the maximum commission from my personal team, which is great, right? Y'all don't want me just sitting here behind a screen telling you to go do parties and then I'm like, but I'm not, I'm done. I did my job, you know. No, I'm still doing the same thing that I'm asking you guys to do. That's how I build my business too. And I love that, because it keeps us relevant, and it also keeps us knowledgeable. Like we know what's going on because we're doing it. So, congratulations to our team leader, and that is Camila, who is not here right now, but she is a team leader. So, congratulations to Camila. And then our next step on the career path would be our elite team leaders. So, as an elite team leader, you have 8 or more active. This is the last level on the consultant career path. You don't go any higher than elite team leader until you become a director. So, 8 or more active, you still get your 50% profit, your 50% discount, your $50 qualified team building bonuses. You still get your 9 or 13% personal team commission, but at 8 active or more, what else happens? This is super exciting. Y'all, I just want to tell you, I say this all the time because I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. And we're going to talk about this in our training tonight, but there are people who are not part of Mary Kay yet who will be in this position on October 1st. And that is DIQ. So, as an elite team leader, you can submit for DIQ. And DIQ stands for Director in Qualification. Melissa just got excited. It's all good. So, did you just unsend a chat? I didn't even know you could do that. Too late, I saw it. I didn't even know that was a thing. So, but as a DIQ, that is not a level on the career path. It is a qualification period. So the level on the career path is elite team leader. You have 8 or more active. That's it. 8 or more active, you're an elite team leader. As an elite team leader, you can submit for DIQ on the first of the next month. So if you have 8 active team members in September, then you can submit for DIQ on October 1st with Scarlett, with Camila, with Melissa, with Kelly, because these are the women that are working towards going into DIQ October 1st. And you guys, I'm telling you, if you don't feel qualified, it does not matter. It does not matter how long you've been in Mary Kay. It doesn't matter if you feel qualified. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you believe and you go make it happen, because those are the people that are going to be moving up the career path. Now, if you want leadership in this company, there's no point in waiting. You don't have to have a probation period. If you just joined this month or last month or the month before, it doesn't matter. Thank goodness Mary Kay's not like, sorry, you're too new, you can't do that yet. No, they are all about empowering women, and Mary Kay is really good at really rewarding the highly motivated. Who's highly motivated? I am super motivated because the career path is very clear. The rewards are very clear. The prizes that we can earn, they're very clear. We know exactly what we need to do to get them. All we have to do is just go do it. So when I say there are people who are not even part of Mary Kay yet that will join and still submit for DIQ October 1st, I mean that. I see it every month. I have a ton of Mary Kay friends on Facebook. So every first of the month, it's like, congratulations to this DIQ. I just get to see like, congratulations to this new director, this DIQ, this new team leader, this new senior consultant. It's just so fun to see all the celebrating of these women reaching their goals. And you can too, but you have to decide. There has to be a decision. You hear that in Mary Kay a lot. The switch has to flip. So for a lot of people, it's off. And we think like, oh, I'm going to wait until I'm ready to turn it on. But there is never a perfect time. Trust me, there's never a perfect time. So guess when the perfect time is? Right now. Right now. In the middle of your chaos, in the middle of life happening, in the middle of your family issues, your personal issues, your anxiety, in the middle of all that, now is the perfect time. Because the women that are doing it, guess what? They don't have perfect lives. And when you go to events like Fall Advance or career conference or seminar, you hear these women sharing their stories. And these are not stories that are like feel good stories. These are sad stories. These are, I just lost my daughter this year, but I still reached my goal. It was for her. Or you'll hear, I'm literally being treated for cancer right now, but I still reached my goal because reaching my goal isn't going to, not reaching my goal isn't going to fix the issues that are going on in my life. You know what I mean? So the goals that we have, sometimes we think we need to wait for better circumstances to run for them, but we're always in the middle of something, y'all. As women, we're always in the middle of a crisis, or we're just leaving a crisis, or we're about to be in one. It's not often that things are smooth sailing for a long amount of time, especially for believers. I think for believers, it's even more because once we become believers and we're following Jesus and we're doing what God has called us to do, the enemy is just not okay with it. And he's going to attempt to attack us and distract us and get us off course. And sadly, some people take that as a sign that they're on the wrong path. And that is such a lie. That's exactly what he wants you to think. So, if you have a goal to move up the career path, I just encourage you to do it now. Now, you guys, like right now, as in reach out to me and be like, how do I get to the next level? The next level for a lot of you would be senior consultant. We just need one active. One active gets you to senior consultant. And then we'll look at, okay, what's next? The next step is star team builder. And then there's team leader and then elite team leader. And we can make that happen in days. Y'all, I wish Camila was on right now because she has needed on the last day, I can't even remember the number. I'm just going to say 6. I'm pretty sure it was 6 active in one day. One day. One day, y'all. Guess how many days we have left this month? We have 7. And she made it happen. And I don't remember when I became a director, it was 12 years ago. Actually, October 1st is my 12-year, because I became a director on October 1st. So if you saw the post on the Sparkling Stars group, Shayla Sadler joined 12 years ago today. And she was the last active team member that I needed to become a sales director on September 30th, 12 years ago. And so the thing is, if I hadn't been pushing and believing, I wouldn't have found her. And I wouldn't have even gotten her to say yes because she didn't even want to give me her number, much less book. Now, she was easy to book. I will say she was easy to book once I got her number, but she said no when I was like, hey, have you already entered my giveaway? No, thanks, I'm good. Are you sure it's free? No, I'm good. I'll write it for you. She's like, okay. And she ended up being the last active team member that I needed to finish DIQ. So how bad do you want your goals? And if you want to be a leader in this company, figure out why you want it. That is the most important thing, is figuring out why you want it and what it's going to do for you and your family. And of course, we want to do it to help other women, but your why has something to do with your family too. And it's not selfish to have goals, y'all. It is not selfish to want to do well in life. That's not selfish. In case you don't know, money is not the root of all evil. Okay, let's just get that clear. We're going to talk about that next week. I'm not even going to talk about that tonight, but it's the love of money. Okay, it's not money itself. Money is not bad. We need money, right? How are we going to meet needs around us if we can't even meet our own family's needs? So, how can we give generously if we're barely paying our own bills? So, we are created to prosper and to spread wealth and to spread resources, right? Which we can't do if they stop with us or if we don't even bring them into our life. So we will talk more about money next week, but the career path, y'all, in order for us to move forward as a unit, because we're doing great, we're number 1, right? We're doing great. However, if we don't continue to grow, then what happens is we'll get stuck and we'll start going backwards. I don't want to get stuck or go backwards. I want to keep moving forward. So even if every person on this Zoom right now just added 1 team member this week, that's 16 new people in the next week for this unit. Just 1. Everybody, look, everybody can add 1 team member. Everybody knows 1 person who is looking for extra money or needs some of this positivity. Because do y'all get a lot of this outside of Mary Kay? Do you get a lot of people encouraging you, pouring into you, teaching you life skills? Women need this. Everybody knows at least 1 person who could benefit from Mary Kay in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just the half off products because Christmas is coming, okay? So everybody knows 1. Let's share with that person. Now, do I suggest you call her and say, hey, I think you should join my team? Probably not. She's probably not going to be like, okay, there's ways to do it. So if that's something you want to do, text me. I say text me because I will never remember things in the chat, but text me and be like, hey, I want to move up the career path. Let's do it. And we will lock arms and we will run for the next 7 days and we will get you to wherever it is you want to be as long as you are willing. And it will take some hard conversations. It will take some uncomfortable phone calls. It will take some getting out of your comfort zone, but that's how we grow. So I wanted to talk about the career path because, one, the career path and maximizing, who wants to maximize all your income sources too? You want multiple streams of income, right? We always hear people talking about multiple streams of income. Well, guess what? You don't need to look outside of Mary Kay for multiple streams of income. You're leaving money on the table right now when you're not moving up the career path. So when we talk about the highest bonus check in 1 month, $211,000, y'all, that's not including her sales. So she's selling products, making her 50% profit, and then she gets this $211,000 check. That's also not including the free car that she's driving. That's another stream of income. Would you save money if you didn't have a car payment, if most of your insurance was paid for, if you didn't have to pay car taxes, if you got a new car every 2 years so your car didn't need a whole lot of maintenance? That's a stream of income, right? So why are we leaving money on the table? There's so many streams of income in this business. So I'm talking a lot about money. I'm going to talk about that next week. Tonight, we're going to talk about the gap in the gain. But before we do, I want to talk about one more level on the career path, and that's sales director. So whose goal is to become a sales director? Even if you're like, I don't even know what that is, but it's my goal. Okay. All right. So we got goals to become a sales director. And that just means that you are leading other women. And you know what? I can guarantee you most of y'all are already leading other women now in other areas of your life in some way, shape, or form, whether it's at your day job or your night job, or whether it's leading people in your household because you got to keep it together, or whether it's leading people in a Bible study, a small group, or maybe you volunteer at a school, or you're probably leading in some way, shape, or form, because you're showing up, and those who show up go up. So if the fact that you're showing up already says a lot about you as a person and your character and your work ethic. So that tells me that every one of you is already a leader. And, and you're probably leading yourself well too, because that's why you're on here. And that's really important too, is leading ourselves well. Well, as a sales director, we do the same thing as a consultant. I am still doing parties, right? I'm still doing skincare sessions. I still follow the flip chart. I still do what you do. The difference is I get paid more to do it. So who wants to get paid more? Yes. All right. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an example. When I was in DIQ, so in DIQ, you're an elite team leader, right? That's your title. You don't get any more money in DIQ. You're just in qualification. You've just submitted to the company and said, hey, I want to be a sales director. So they're like, great. You have 3 months to get it done. You can do it in 1, 2, or 3 months. Totally up to you. And that's the other thing, is October 1st is kind of pivotal because that gives you 3 months to really be in DIQ before leadership. So it gives you the whole 3 months just in case. Now, faster is easier, faster is better, but anybody who becomes a sales director by January 1st will actually be able to go to leadership with us in Nashville. So, and that is going to be a really, really fun event. Okay. So you want to be at leadership. You want to be in Nashville with us with our matchy boots. By the way, look, let me just show you. I got my boots on right now. So you want to be in Nashville with us as a sales director, as a brand new sales director, earning all the parties, and it's going to be amazing. But in order to get there, you have to become a sales director by the end of this year. And so what you get as a sales director, one, I'm going to show you how to be a sales director. So don't let the thought of, I don't know how to do that yet. The journey will prepare you, but so will I. I'm going to show you how to do it. Don't worry. So you're not going to just have to figure out how to be a sales director. No worries there. But you're going to make a lot more money and you're also going to get a lot better prizes. You're going to have access to earn the free cars and you get into different circles. Do you know you become like the people that you surround yourself with? And as a sales director, you get to surround yourself with other sales directors. And these are women that are thinking bigger, that are speaking bigger, that are loving bigger, they're praying bigger. They're just like big thinkers. And that's who I want to be part of. I want to be part of a group that I know has my back no matter what. And that sisterhood, which I know as a national, it's going to get even better. But I really do love the circles as a sales director. So every single morning, y'all, every morning at 6, I and another sales director in our national area pray for all of you. And it's every morning at 6 o'clock. We call it our, yeah, we're on the phone or 6:10 or 6:15. Most mornings at 6 o'clock, but we're praying together. And I just don't know of anywhere else that encourages that kind of behavior, or even tolerates it sometimes, to be honest. So it's just different as a sales director. And also, you make more money. So my very last month as a consultant, I was in DIQ. That would be right now, 12 years ago, the month that Shayla joined my team. That month, my bonus check was about $700. So who would like a $700 monthly bonus check? It's pretty exciting because sometimes I feel like people work all year and don't even get a $700 bonus. Okay, well, my very first month as a sales director, so that would be October 1st, 2013, and then through the 31st, that whole month, that would be my first month as a sales director. My bonus check that month, and y'all, our numbers were about the same. As I'm sure you can imagine, when you're in DIQ, you and your team are pushing. Like, y'all are squeezing out everything you got. So then on October 1st, you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a breath. So our numbers were about the same. We had some momentum. Our production was about the same. What we sold was about the same. The number of new people that came in, it was all about the same from September to October. Well, my bonus check one month was $700, the next month was $2,000. So would you rather make $700 or $2,000 for the same amount of work? Right? It makes no sense, right? And then the other thing is, as a sales director, the bonuses that you get as a consultant, they just get bigger. So I have earned this month alone, this month, $1,100 just in extra bonuses. Extra as in from star consultants, qualified team members, and qualified unit members. That's not including my commission as a sales director or my sales. That's just an extra bonus of 1,100 so far. There's more coming. But you guys, that makes a big difference in your life. And so I want everybody to have what I have. If it's what you want, if it's not what you want, that's cool. We need consultants that stay consultants because then we don't have a base unit if everybody becomes a director. But if it's something you want, I want you to have it because I really, really love the freedom of literally being able to design my day however I want. And some people have the flexibility I have, but they don't have the money. And then some people have the money that I have, but they don't have the flexibility. So, wouldn't you like to have both? Wouldn't you like to be able to do what you want every day and not have to answer to someone else and not have to ask permission to go places or to take time off? So, that's the opportunity that we have when we move up the career path. And then let me just ask you this too. It's not all about us, but has anybody benefited at all from Mary Kay? Whether it's financially, mentally, you've learned maybe a little bit of life skills, the sisterhood, the encouragement. Has anybody here benefited in any way, shape, or form from being in Mary Kay? Yes. Okay. So why would we keep that to ourselves? Why should it stop with us? Why would we not build our team? There are women out there that are looking for something that this business has to offer. Whether it's, again, the money, the sisterhood, the personal growth, whatever it is, There are so many women out there right now looking for exactly this, and they don't even know that it exists. And they've already been chosen to be on your team. Your job is to go find them. And they're not all going to say yes. Kim was talking to me this morning and she was like, here's the way I see it. I asked 10 people, one of them will say yes. And I'm like, all right, then go ask 100 people. Let's do it. I mean, it's so simple, y'all. It's so simple. We make it complicated. We get in our own heads. We make it way harder than it has to be. So we're good at that, right? So we're going to talk tonight about the gap in the gain, but I would love to know who is committed to moving up the career path. Who is committed to moving up the career path this week to help us finish this goal? Y'all, everybody can do it. Everybody. And if you're not sure, just text me and be like, I want to, but I don't know what that looks like. I got you. After tomorrow. Tomorrow I don't got you, but Thursday I do. So let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the gap and the gain. I feel like a lot of people are like coming and going. I hope we're not having technical issues. Um, so let me just make sure nobody has texted me about issues. So let's see. I know Megan said that she got off and then got back on because her phone died. So I know sometimes it's not just technology, it's just it's us. But the gap in the gain. So the concept of the gap in the gain, I'm gonna spotlight myself again. Oh, oh, you couldn't hear earlier, so you left and you came back too. Okay. And then yeah, I know there's just technology is so fun. All right, so the Gap in the Gain actually is a book. So a lot of times the trainings that I do are from books. So this is a book that I actually, one day I was just scrolling on Facebook, which is terrible. I have since deleted Facebook. This was years ago. Um, but I saw a national sales director had posted like, hey, who has a book that they're reading and or like just give me book recommendations. And so of course it's a national. That means lots of nationals and directors and Mary Kay people were commenting. So I'm like looking through the comments, reading the different book recommendations. And another national commented The Gap in the Gain. And for some reason that stood out to me because there was a whole lot of book recommendations on that post, but I went and I do a lot of Audible. I read a lot of books and I have to do Audible and I have to listen at 1.2 speed. I cannot listen at 1.0 speed. But I listened to the book and I feel like, and I've posted about this book several times since then. I've listened to it and I'm listening to it now again because I recommended it to somebody. But I feel like this book is full of literally so many nuggets. Who likes nuggets? Like you get one-liners that you're like, oh my gosh, that could change everything, right? So it's a really, really good book. So I do recommend the book for sure. But I'm going to go over the gist of it tonight, the concept, and some examples. And hopefully by the end of this Zoom, we will all have decided to live in the gain and not in the gap. Because by nature, typically we're living in the gap. And so has anyone here ever, oh yeah, that's a good question. Dan Sullivan is one of them. Hold on, who's the other guy? Let me look right quick. It's Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. So, The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Yes, absolutely. And it is on Audible. I don't know if it's on Hoopla, but it's on Audible. And it's really good. And there is a book. You know, if you're a book person, just order the book. So, The Gap and the Gain. Has anyone here ever set a goal and then made progress towards the goal and then feel like you're failing? Like you set a goal, you made progress, but you still feel like you're failing. Okay. That is the gap. That is you living in the gap. So the gap is when you measure yourself against an ideal. So an ideal is like the picture in your head of what you think things should look like. So you're measuring yourself against what I think things should look like right now. And guess what? When you are living like that, you will literally never measure up because the ideal always moves, right? There was a time where I would have given anything to be in a red jacket. Now, would I now? No. So the ideal always moves. So it's not like you're going to win if you're living in the gap. So when you're measuring yourself against where you think you should be, you're losing. The gain is when you measure yourself against where you started. So who here is further than when you started? Even if that means you have a customer base, even if that means you have one customer or you've had one sale, like you're further along now than when you started, right? Exactly. That is living in the gain. It's about seeing progress and seeing momentum. And honestly, when you're living in the gain, that's where happiness, motivation, and confidence can come from. But most people live in the gap. And it's so sad. But we're not going to be most people, right? So in Mary Kay, you'll hear a lot of times figure out what most people are doing and then do the opposite. Unless you want to be mediocre. We don't want to be mediocre, right? We don't want to be like most people. We want to be different. Hold on one second. This is a star prize, by the way, this Yeti. It's all beat up. It was a set. There's three of them. Here's another one. So, star, yay, be a star. Okay. So, here are some examples of gap or gain thinking. So, when it comes to fitness, a gap thinking way of thinking is I still have 13 pounds to lose. Okay, so like your goal is 20 pounds, for example. Ah, I still have 13 pounds. Anybody guilty? Okay. The gain way of thinking is I've already lost 7 pounds. My clothes fit better and I have more energy. Why is that not what we're focused on, you guys? Why are we focused on the gap and not the gain? It makes sense once you learn about it. You don't know what you don't know. Um, or let's talk about parenting. So gap thinking would be my kid melts down at bedtime. Ugh, like, ugh. But gain thinking would be a year ago, bedtime was a disaster every night. Like, there was not even any sleeping involved. So now meltdowns are a little bit further spread out. That's the gain, right? Looking at the gain. Or let's talk about finances. That's everybody's favorite subject. So let's talk about debt. So the gap thinking is I still have debt. I suck. This is terrible. I'm no good with money. Like, that's gap thinking. Gain thinking is a year ago, I didn't even know my interest rates. Now I'm paying things down. I'm more aware. I know what's going on. I am a work in progress. So that's gain thinking. Or like your spiritual life is another example. So gap thinking, and I'm definitely guilty of this, is I don't read the Bible every day like I should. And you beat yourself up. But gain thinking is this year I've read more than I have in the past 3 years combined. It's looking at the gain. It's comparing yourself to where you were when you started instead of where you think you should be. Because when we are comparing ourselves to where we think we should be, we will never, ever, 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 ever measure up. So, see how different it feels when you look at things through like the gain eyeglasses? Like, we're going to put our rose colored glasses on, y'all. I think we all literally need a pair of rose-colored glasses because it doesn't do us any good to live in negativity. And I don't know if you know this, but stress and negativity can actually shorten your lifespan. So what good does it do you to be unhappy all the time? Does it do you any good? Yes, Dan Sullivan. Yes. It doesn't. So let's practice right now. I want you to think of one area in your life where you feel like maybe you've been stuck in the gap. Maybe it's health, relationships, maybe it's Mary Kay, family, or I already said relationships, business, So I want you to think right now, and I want you to think of one example, and I want this to be interactive, and I want you to share an actual example, and you can unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. So I would love to hear a couple if anybody's willing to share specifics. Of course, we could say all of the above, but specifically, where is an area that you feel like you have been living in the gap? And I'm going to tell you one of mine, and I'm just going to be really vulnerable with you right now. One of mine is with my teenage daughter. And I just have high expectations of her because I know what she's capable of. So I do have a bad tendency of, let's say, for example, she gets a 80 on a test. Instead of celebrating that 80, it's like, okay, like, why didn't you get an A? And you know what we're doing is we're actually destroying, like, I'm destroying her confidence doing that. I'm teaching her to live in the gap. And instead of celebrating how far she's come, I'm looking at how far I feel like she has to go. And that's very unfair. So that's just me being totally vulnerable with you because I hate that. And I hate who I am when I do that. And it's not like I intentionally want to hurt, obviously we don't want to hurt the people that we love. It's not that, but once I learned about this concept, I realized how much I do it with my teenager. And I had another teenager before, and I did it with him too. um, Now he's grown, and I'm sure that with Olivia, the same thing will end up happening, but it's going to be a lot less because now I'm aware and I'm growing, and nobody's perfect. But I would love some examples, y'all. I know Sarah said health, but I need specifics so we can flip it and turn it into a game. So, in that example with my daughter, when she gets an 80 on a test, for example, the gap or the gain is, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You got a B. That's so exciting. Instead of, well, when I was in school, an 80 was a C. That's gap thinking, y'all. That is not fair. It's not fair for her, for me to not celebrate how far she's come because let me just be honest. She's a senior now in the ninth grade. She had about a 14 in math. So let's count that as a win, right? That's a huge win. So that's what I need to be focused on, not the gap. So, okay, is anybody willing to unmute and just share one? Let me put it back on gallery view. I see your chats and I'm going to read those too. Yes, Sarah.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been on my fitness journey for since December 2024, and it's been like it's been a, a struggle. I'll say honestly, like I'll get to a certain point, but I can't see it. I can't see the progress. But since I've started, I've lost at least 80 pounds. But still, I'm thinking in my head like that's not enough. We need to keep going.
That's
You know?
amazing.
Yeah. So that's my and then sometimes like and I don't see like what all I've done to get to this point. You know what I'm saying? Like I was heavy on sodas and I stopped drinking sodas. And I was heavy on like eating late and I've changed everything, but I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like personally, I don't see the change. People around me say, "Oh, you look good," but I look at it and I look like I still got stuff to lose. So that's my example. I'm going back on mute.
Yes, thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. I mean, that's a huge win. And I know it's so much easier for others to celebrate us than it is for us to celebrate ourselves. But let's start living in the game because that is a huge win. And you might not be where you're going, but you're obviously moving towards that. And that's the gain is you have lost 80 pounds and you're still on this journey and you're making better decisions. Like you said, that's a gain. So what we do is we beat ourselves up like, oh, I ate a cookie today, instead of I haven't had a soda in 6 months. So let's focus on the good. I love it. Okay, and Michelle says, I've been in my head in the past week about joining Mary Kay. So we're going to look at a gain there. How can we turn that into a gain? So with Sarah's, it would be focusing on the weight loss, that already has happened, focusing on the choices that have been made differently. So with yours, Michelle, how could you make that into a gain? And just kind of thinking like, look at how far you've come since you joined. You have new customers. You have people supporting you. You have faces hopping on the Zooms. You have a booking. You have a party coming up. That's exciting. So just looking at the gain. And you might think of other examples. So just figuring out how to turn your gap into a gain. And then Kelly said, financially, with an income, paying little on everything I owe, and no income means I'm getting back being behind on everything. It's struggle between gas, our groceries. So far, gas is winning. So, how can we look at the gain there? Like, how can we look at even just in the past, let's say, since you joined Mary Kay, because you are pretty new in Mary Kay, looking at the gain, the progress. How can we look at the progress? So, we're not looking at any like backwards, right? We're not looking at maybe where we were 5 years ago versus where we are now, but we are looking at the starting point from when we made a decision to change things to where we are now. Does that make sense? Because we've all been in probably better places physically, financially, spiritually, relationally. But obviously, if you're aware of it, you made a decision at some point like, okay, things are going to change. Maybe coming into Mary Kay was part of that. So looking at the gain, what progress, what steps have I taken since then to move forward? So definitely just turning that into a gain. So I would love to hear, oh, there's lots of chats. If you put a gap in the chat, I would love for you to also put how you're going to walk away from this Zoom looking at it as a gain instead. And Nisha, that's so powerful. We are conditioned to live in the gap and not celebrate success. We see that at our parties all the time because one of the things we say is, tell me three things you love and one thing that you personally are proud of. You're not allowed to say another person. You can't say you're proud of your kids, your grandkids, your mama. No, something that you are proud of. And women have such a hard time with that question. And it's so sad. Do you think that you're serving anybody by playing small or shrinking back? Because you're not. You're absolutely not. So it's okay to celebrate yourself and your progress and your wins. And being proud of yourself and having pride are not the same thing. So, not the same thing. You can be proud of your progress and still have humility. So, I think that's something that we need to remember too. Um, Ebony said she beats herself up and applies more pressure than grace. Yes, can definitely relate. So I'm still scrolling because I see these messages popping up. So hopefully y'all are putting the gains to match your gaps in the chat. And then Tiffany said, I tend to find myself thinking that I'm always going to be stuck in this hole I'm in and that I don't deserve to have anything better than to struggle. And that is definitely something I can relate to also. So, how are we going to look at that as a gain? How are we going to turn that around, look at the progress, and live in the gain moving forward? Um, so let's see. I tend to think I'm good enough that I don't deserve. There's definitely a pattern here, y'all. I tend to think that I'm not good enough or don't deserve to be a director or leader. I will continue to focus on my spiritual journey because I was made in his image. Katie said her health. I need to celebrate the fact that 2 years ago I couldn't walk over 6 steps. I get upset that I'm unable to live and do what I need and want, but I am here and I will get better every day. Yes, that's huge. So when you look at where you started, there has been progress. And I know it's frustrating when you don't have all the answers, especially health wise, because you feel so helpless. But look at the gain. And in the book, he talks about that. He talks about someone who, he talks about, there's a lot of examples that he gives. This, you just got to read the book. Um, and then Kelly, again, is before you would have sat there and went hungry, you are now asking for help, and that's okay. I'm proud of you. And then Tiffany said, I'm proud of my progress in healing, spirituality, and never giving up, no matter how dark my life has gotten. Celebrating all wins, even no's or wins, because I asked, said Nisha. Yes, I'm proud of myself for making the decision to do something for me. Yes, to do something that makes me happy and that can allow for the life I'm dreaming of. Yes, that you still have funds to get things. Um, so yes, yes to all of this. But listen, I will say when Kelly, we're going to live in the gain. Okay. There is always a gain. Guess what? You're alive. You have a house. You have enough technology to get on this Zoom tonight. There is always a gain, and it's a choice. We have to choose to live in the gain. If you choose to continue living in the gap, you're going to get more of that. So you have to make a choice. You have to. So if every time someone tries to help you see the gain, you rebuke it with a gap, that's where you're going to stay stuck. And so we want to get out of the gap. We're going to jump right out of the gap right now into the gain and just be done. So some other examples are how we do this to others. And I'm about to step on some more toes because these stepped on my toes. So I gave the kid example of mine, and the example that I had for tonight is exactly that. So a child brings home a 92 on a test. We're like, what happened to the other 8 points? But the gain thinking is, wow, your last test was at 82, or wow, last year you were struggling in that subject. It's looking at the gain. But then, well, let's not just talk about kids. Let's talk about adults. So your husband does the dishes, but he forgets the counters. What do? You walk in the kitchen and you're like, why are the counters dirty? Instead of looking at the sink and thanking him for doing the dishes. So, because that really helps me, what are we doing? Are we living in the gap? Are we living in the gain with the people in our lives? Because when we speak the gap into people, we are literally training them to feel not enough. And when we speak the gain into people, we inspire them to grow. And I know that this is hard. And I just want to say true leadership and real growth, because I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but like that never happens to me. Like, no, nobody ever does my dishes. The people in your life do stuff for you. You're just not acknowledging it and you're not trained to see it. You know that there are people that care about you because you're on this Zoom, but you're choosing to live in the gap. And when you impose that on people, when they know that, then that is definitely where you are contributing to the feelings of not enough. And I don't ever want to contribute to the feelings of not enough. And this is something that I've lived in. I was just praying about this earlier, that I would just stop thinking that I'm not working hard enough to earn a Cadillac, because that's how I have felt my whole business. Like, I need to do more. I need to do no more. I need to be working 24/7 in order to really deserve this. That's a lie. That's gap thinking. That is not true. So, when it comes to real growth and true leadership, so we're talking about true leadership here. Okay? We're not talking about leadership when it's convenient. We're talking about real leaders, because I'm about building real leaders in this future national area, that the offspring sales directors that come from this area are truly leading, not just having a title. So, true leadership is treating people with gain thinking, even when they don't treat you that way. That is not a condition of you treating them that way. Okay. So I know we have this huge, like the golden rule in Mary Kay, treat others the way you want to be treated. People leave off the silver part. Even if they don't treat you that way, are you going to stoop to their level? No. What good does that do you? What good does that do them? Typically, hurt people are hurting people. It's not you. So a workplace example of this could be a coworker that complains constantly. Most of y'all can relate to that, right? So a gap response would be to match their negativity. That's pretty easy to do, right? That's only human. To complain about them on Facebook or to just avoid them altogether. But gain thinking would be you keep your own energy positive, or go even further than that and affirm one good thing about them. That's going to definitely catch them by surprise. I'll tell you that much. You're calling out the good. Or let's just say, like a teenager, it's not even my teenager. It's Olivia that says this. Nobody ever helps me. She thinks every time she has to do a chore, it's the end of the world. You should do, not every time. She's very good, but Brooklyn and Olivia both. Oh, I'm knocking stuff over. Nobody ever helps me. Like, I'll be like, Brooklyn, can you do the dishes? Well, can you rinse them? I'm like, that's literally doing the dishes. You're asking me to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. So, in that moment, when they are saying that, a gap response from me would be like, well, you don't help me either. Yep. Melissa's like, oh. So, a gain response and teaching them to live in the gain would be something like, I hear that you feel unsupported because their feelings are valid, y'all. It's not, even if it's not true, their feelings are valid. But look at the independence you're showing. You did your homework all on your own this week. You put away your clothes. Like you're pointing out the gain, the good. So, when we live in the gain with other people, even if they don't, we show maturity. And we don't want to have the maturity of a toddler, y'all. And when we throw a fit and we complain and all we see is the bad, we're acting like toddlers. So, true leadership, and I'm so sorry if I'm stepping on anyone's toes. It's probably everyone because this was me. Absolutely was me. I came into this business so negative, y'all, and I didn't even see it at first. I'm like, why are they talking about this? This is boring. You know, I would be like, this doesn't apply to me. But we are working on true leadership here, okay? So let's talk about Mary Kay. So we talked about a lot of non-Mary Kay stuff. So faces, for example. All right. So your goal was 30 faces and it's now the last day of the month and midnight. Okay. First of all, we don't give up until the time has passed. Then we just change the date. So we don't change the goal. But let's say your goal last month, or for example, was my goal was 30 faces. We're not going to talk about this month because you can still reach your goals this month. But your goal last month was 30 faces. The gap is I didn't hit my 30 faces this month. And then the gain is I met 12 new women I never knew before. That's 12 new connections. That's 12 potential reorders. That's 12 potential team members. So if your goal was 30 and you saw 12, you are going to focus on those 18 that you didn't see. But I want you to start focusing on the 12 that you did, or the 5 that you did, or the 1 that you did, or the leads that you got that's going to lead to the 30 this month. Okay, so sales, for example, I only sold $200 this week. The gain, that's 200 more than I sold like at the beginning of the week. Like that's 200 more dollars than I had before, right? That's also a couple new customers who now love our products and could reorder. That's the gain thinking. So I love it, Tiffany. The gap, I steamed up my glasses and can't see. The gain, the chili smells awesome. That's such a good example because we do that. We get annoyed at things that are actually blessings. The fact that you have food, now I want chili. The fact that you have an oven, like those are gains. We have to start focusing on the gains. Okay, so let's talk about sharing, moving up the career path. I really thought she was going to join my team. She didn't join. Wah, right? The gain is she heard the plan, she heard the marketing. I planted a seed. On average, 1 in 5 joined. So this is moving me closer. Kim, 1 in 5 joined, just FYI. That really is the number. I just want you to go ask 10 because you'll build your team faster. But 1 in 5 share calls joins. So leadership, let's talk about leadership. I'm not a director yet. I'm not a pink Cadillac director. I'm not a national sales director. That's gap thinking. Gain thinking is 6 months ago, I didn't even have a team. 6 months ago, I didn't even know how to do a share call. Now I'm leading women who weren't even here before. People are on this Zoom because of me. That's gain thinking, okay? So every single gain matters because small steps, just like we talked about last week, compound into big results. So honestly, living in the gap leads to discouragement and burnout. You will always feel like you're behind, always. But living in the gain leads to momentum, confidence, and energy. Who wants momentum, confidence, and energy? That's what I want. Do you know there's a lot of science behind this? Your brain literally gets a dopamine hit when you celebrate gains. Just like in Romans 12:2, Paul said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So it's science and scripture. The way you choose to measure things changes your whole experience. Like, have you ever seen someone whose life seems like is literally falling apart, but they're still happy? And then someone else who really doesn't even have a lot of bad stuff going on, but they think their life is the worst. Yeah, so we're going to choose to live in the gain. Who is willing to choose to live in the gain? Okay, awesome. All right, so I have a challenge for you. Every night this week, and you know what? You can use the post. I love all these reactions on the screen. It's so fun. You can use the post that'll go up. So every week I post who was on the Crown the Caddy Zoom, and I tag everybody that was on and ask for a takeaway. Be sure you comment your takeaway on that post. So I expect at least, well, there's 17 of us on right now, but I think, are we missing anybody? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, maybe not. Maybe everybody's been on this whole time. That's exciting. So, I want to see at least 16 comments of takeaways from tonight's Zoom. And you can use that post to do your homework. So every night this week, I want you to write down 3 gains for that day. 3 gains. They can be personal, they can be Mary Kay, they can be in your relationship with your spouse or your family or your friends, or it can be anything. And if you want bonus accountability, put it on that post. Put it in Voxer. Text it to one of your Mary Kay sisters that's on right now. And watch how it rewires your mind and your business. So we're going to close tonight. We are going to say an affirmation. So everybody unmute yourself. We're going to say this together. It's going to be so fun. Before I do the affirmation, let me take a picture so I don't forget. So everybody say cheese.
Cheese.
I love it. Okay. All right. So okay, so repeat after me and I want you to say it like you mean it, okay?
Wendy, before you start this affirmation,
Yes, ma'am.
Let me tell you the gap in this affirmation. We all sound crazy saying this at the same time, but the gain is so much fun because we're doing
It is. I know who we're missing. Now that you're talking, Jessica's missing. All right. But you know what? This is on YouTube, so everybody can go back and watch it. But you're right. It sounds crazy, but it is so fun. And there's power when you speak it out loud. Okay, so your affirmations,
Yeah.
you gotta say them out loud. So, okay, I will not live in the gap.
I will not live in the gap.
Live in the gap.
I will rise in the gain.
I will
Rise in the game.
I celebrate my progress.
I
celebrate
my
My progress.
I honor my journey.
I honor my journey.
My journey.
I am becoming stronger every day.
I am becoming stronger every day.
Every day.
Yes. Okay. So that is a choice that we're going to make every day, right? Every day
Yes.
this week, but turn it into a habit. We will not live in the gap. We are going to rise in the gain, and we're going to rise together because we're in the gain. So thank you all so much for being on here tonight. I love you all so much. And I'm excited to see. I want you to focus on your progress. You guys, stop beating yourself up. Stop. It's not helping. It's really not. And we're going to move forward, and we're going to move forward together. So who's excited to move forward? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, y'all have a great rest of your night. And if you want to hop on, okay, I'm gonna have to find it. You know, it's the same every week, right?
Okay.
It's the same every week. I can find it. Hold on.
I got it.
Okay. Yes.
I got it.
It's the same every week. So if you're hopping on Ruth's Zoom, go ahead and hop on to learn about Bye Bye Tired Eyes. Yes. Yes, we're gonna learn about that tonight. And y'all have a great rest of your night. Bye.